Hey everybody, Praskieva here. I am back with more Kerbal space program. Today we're actually going to mess around a little bit with space planes. I've been screwing around with a couple of mods here. I will show you what I've been doing first of all here, just keep you updated. That's a satellite that we had launched previously in the first episode that I came back from. It's not the first episode of the series, but the first one that I've been doing recently. I also launched a probe up to the pole, which is actually our goal with the space plane, is to come up here. So it's just a simple little probe. It's got sensors and doodads on it for no real reason. They don't really do anything, but they're cool, and it gives me a spot to try to aim for up here, I guess. Secondly, the second mod I installed is called MechJeb. I'm sure most of you already know what that is. I did that because I get sick of just doing routine orbits and stuff like that. And it also gives you a lot of useful information about your spacecraft. I used MechJeb to actually get this into its orbit, which is about 400,000 meters here. This is part of the other mod that I installed, which is the ISA MapSat mod, which is really cool. This little satellite is in a polar orbit here, and it just goes around the planet mapping it. So this is the completed map here. It shows the Kerbal Space Centers. There's actually a second one I've never been to that's apparently over there. It shows the current position of the satellite or whatever device we're using. We can use this on other things too. And then it shows anomalies that it's detected on the planet as well, which is part of the reason I'm going to the pole, because one of those anomalies is on the pole. Plus, I just kind of felt like going to the pole anyway. So let's go ahead and... what was the other thing I was going to do? Oh yeah, subassembly loader. It's this little tab here it adds. This should be part of the game. I can't understand why it's not. But basically, let's just use this as an example here. Here's a subassembly that I saved. It's an earlier version of the plane that we're going to be using today. You just go ahead and take an assembly that you've built, you put it up here, give it a name, and then you can load it in at any time. You can load it in the vehicle assembly building or this the spaceplane building, which is super duper useful. It saves you a lot of trouble. Now this is the modified version of that plane that I've worked out. Flies pretty well. We had a pretty serious accident with this plane already, though. I'm afraid I lost a Kerbal in the crash. I attempted this polar flight once before and it didn't go well. Basically, this plane with the 4 turbojet engines on the back is ridiculously fast. Now, see, I have the GPS unit on here so we can actually see where we're going, which is pretty handy. It's actually just a little thing you put on here. It's right there. But basically, there's some debris up here. That's what's left of the original test plane. So it didn't go good. We're gonna do better this time, I think. Let's get the avionics turned on so we can actually fly this thing, because it's kind of a little bit unstable, but it's not that bad once you have the avionics on. Flying it without them is not fun. I need to turn the rendering quality up or something. I guess I must have gotten changed at some point. That looks weird. Anyway, there's lots of little flapping going on as it tries to stabilize here. We should be able to get it to an altitude pretty quick where these engines aren't going to overheat. I should have overheat warnings coming on fairly soon here. We're going to swing this bad boy around to face the pole. I guess maybe the engines aren't even going to overheat. I don't have an overheat warning. I thought I would. Anyway, and swing around to 90 degrees here. Or not 90 degrees, 0 degrees I guess it is. We're already going 90 degrees. That would be east, but gonna try to go land at the pole. I need to put my gear up, so I always forget to do that. This satellite thing really just changes everything. That and the assembly loader both need to be part of the game. I know a lot of people don't like MechJeb because they consider it cheating, but if I'm putting satellites or space station in orbit over and over again, in real life that kind of stuff is done with autopilots. I don't see anything wrong with using autopilot for maneuvers in this game at all. Real astronauts, like back in the 60s, I guess they would have manually done their burns and stuff. But nowadays, the space shuttle was pretty much controlled by, by planned maneuvers that were in the computer and stuff. I'm sure they could override them and stuff, but it makes more sense with all these automated spacecraft that exist nowadays. I shouldn't be flying my probes manually and stuff. This is not how that's done. And it's pretty boring, so... this plane can get up to like 1,200 meters per second, which I believe is almost 4 times the speed of sound. That's actually how that crash happened. I got a little bit overzealous with my height when I got near the pole because I just wanted to see what it could do. And I got up to, I think it was around 16,000 meters. We actually need to keep an eye on our airflow. I didn't pay enough attention to the airflow. The engines flamed out, and we went into this terrible death spiral, which is the coolest crash I've done in Kerbal yet, actually, where the plane was just in this horrible counterclockwise rotation. And at some point, one of the engine supports broke off and it hit the other engine or something. I think it was this engine broke off and hit that engine. And it basically just sheared the whole wing off. And it just did a little spiral down to the ground. I felt pretty bad for poor Bob Kerman because he knew he was going to die, but there was nothing he could do about it. But we'll always remember him, I guess. The first Kerbal to die in this series, I think. Not going to be the last, I'm sure. Now, I'm going to try to keep my altitude to around 12,000 or so because I think it was at 14 or... Oh, look, we already got the air effects going here. This thing actually does the re-entry effects in the atmosphere, which if heat is implemented in the game, is going to get to be a problem. Let's see if we can get some of the re-entry effects going here. It's pretty scary. Oh, I think it's... Yep, it's starting to glow. That cannot be fun. Come on, plane. Oh, there's the orange. Yeah, so that if once actual heat effects are in the game, that's probably going to be a problem. But for now, it just means we can get to the pole super duper quick. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. Going a couple times the speed of sound, it's alright. These things happen. And I am above the altitude I want it to be, so I need to pitch this down a little bit. I need to pay more attention to that. So this is only going to take, I think it was like 25 minutes or so. But I'll probably cut out the flight time unless something terrible happens. So I will see you guys in a minute. Alright guys, we're just still chugging along. I just wanted to show you the crazy speeds we're getting up to with this thing. I'm sure people have built much faster planes, but I'm pretty pleased with this. Like, my first planes were barely flyable, so the fact that this thing flies pretty straight and goes this fast makes me pretty darn happy. I wish there was a window in this cockpit so we could see this, though, but... anyway, let's see, where's our current position? We are there. I'm not going to leave the anomalies on, people get uppity about that, but try to land somewhere up there, so, just going to keep on keeping on here. Slowing down a little bit because I was getting a little bit too high. And while we're warping here, guys, I did want to just mention the reason that I don't turn on the physical time warp is because that's actually part of the reason I got into trouble last time. So I'm staying away from that when I'm flying this thing at these speeds because it's plenty fast enough that we can get almost anywhere we want pretty easily anyway. And there's no sense in asking for trouble like that. So I'm going to just keep piloting this and we'll fast forward a little bit. I'm just trying to get an idea of where my probe is because I'd like to land somewhere near it. It looks like we need to adjust our heading a little bit over to the left here. I think I just stalled out, didn't I? Yep. Okay, the struts are working. Damn it, I should not have gone to the map. Let's see if we can recover this. Alright, I'm throttling the engines down most of the way. I need to turn the SAS off. Getting really bad frame rate right now, too. Let's try to kill this spin. So this is the spin that I went into last time. I didn't have those struts installed, so the tail just kind of tore itself apart. I don't know whether this is going to be recoverable or not. It seems like I'm slowing down the spin. And hopefully we can get some air going here again in a little bit. It's going to take a few minutes till we... I bet it won't re-engage the engines till like 10,000. Because when we go backwards, obviously, we're not really getting any air. Oh man, this thing is not slowing down. I had to go check the map right then. I should have angled the nose down. I was pushing it, I just was not paying enough attention. That's what happens on the... I mean, it's only an 11-minute flight, but I end up not paying attention, and this is how things go. But we're slowing it down. Alright, the engines have re-engaged. I'm going to start throttling back up, try to get this thing going straight again. I don't know. I don't know. Pull up, man. Okay, we got this. Oh, no, we don't got this. Okay, throttle down, throttle down. Running out of room here. Running out of room. I don't even care what direction we go, just go straight. Yeah, we're dead. We're dead. More throttle solves most problems. I don't think airplanes usually do that. Oh god, there's no way. Yeah, it's down in the ground and... Well, there's no debris this time. So that's something. I gotta turn off these rocks. I think they're causing part of the frame rate issues. Well, darn. Guess what we'll do is I will meet you guys back on the way there. I know I can make it. So I'm gonna just take it a little easy there. I'm gonna turn off those rocks. So that... Alright, so we are back on a correct heading again with a new Kerbal, Kirkwise. So it looks like we lost 2 thus far in this program. I had to actually change the resolution and upscale the map. I think this shows up a little better on YouTube, so you can actually see what I'm doing. And then also, the game, for whatever reason, when I'm recording, has a lot of frame rate issues that I don't get when I'm playing single player. I know it's not a very graphically intensive game. I think it's more CPU intensive, so it might be time to, I don't know. I just bought a new CPU. I have an Intel Core i7. It should be good enough, but maybe it's my hard drive. I don't know. Some games don't like recording. Anyway, it seems to be doing a lot better at 720p. I upload in 720p anyway, so it ought to work out just fine. It just doesn't look quite as pretty. But we'll do a little time lapse again here, and I'll see you when we get close to the North Pole. Alright, just like last time, I'm going to try to get my alignment right here for this probe. This time, however, I did it while I'm making sure that we're actually heading in a roughly downward position here. So it looks like I need to... It's just when you get close to the poles, the longitude and latitude get kind of meaningless. Looks like I just need to kind of go to the... Like I was trying to do, go to the left ever so slightly. Doesn't really matter. Oh, it's going up again. Good thing I didn't spend too much more time there. Anyway, it doesn't really matter that I get too close, I guess, to the probe. I just kind of like to. Alright, I kind of stopped paying attention there for a minute. Getting up pretty high, so I'm going to cut the throttle and try to drop some altitude here real quick before the engines flame out again. I don't need another repeat of that. I really probably should just put an autopilot module on this because I kind of stopped paying attention for a little bit and was doing other stuff and almost died again. So anyway, as long as we can kind of keep an eye on that, we should be good to go. Try to just keep the reduced throttle for the next little bit here. I don't even know why I just hit R by mistake. Alright, if you look over here on the map, our little, I don't know how well you can see that on YouTube, but my little target's right there where my cursor is. And I can see the water. What was that noise? The plane just made a weird noise. It made me nervous. Seems to be okay. Anyway, I can see my target there. I can see the water, which means that the pole should be coming into view very soon. I think I see some white off on the very edge of the horizon. That might be the ice cap. Pretty sure that is the ice cap, in fact. So, closing in here. Now, I'm going to point down just a little bit. Take a quick second here. It looks like we need to make an adjustment of a couple of degrees at least. Try to get anywhere near that. I actually think I might want to land near the debris there, though, because the mountain range there looks more interesting. Or I think it's a mountain range. That actually might... No, that's just the ground underneath. There's mountains there. Those mountains actually look like they might be more interesting than what I was probably going to be dealing with. So, I think we're going to head off to around there somewhere and try to land. Probably going to have to land a little bit out of the mountains, get an idea of what the landing site is like. I guess I'll probably try to focus on some of that debris. I don't know how you do that, though. I know you can focus on debris. So, I think we'll start getting a little bit of altitude here again, get some speed up so we can get there. But I really like the polar region here. It's kind of why I wanted to do this mission. I never really explored Kerbal at all. I know there's anomalies like these little monoliths on Kerbal. I've never found one. And there is one up in this polar region, so if we can get a little base and some rovers and stuff up here, maybe we can find one. Transporting the rovers I'll probably have to do via rocket, because this is a little bit ridiculous flying a plane. We're not going to have enough fuel, as you can see over there, either for a return trip, so I guess you're just going to be living at the North Pole in your airplane for a little while here, my Kerbal friend. Kind of sucks for him. I want to change my course a little bit further, actually. And this ice cap on, I don't know why it's so blocky, like, it's really terrible. The coastline is not, like, great, but I guess on the coastline they cheat it with, like, little fades and stuff, which they don't get to do on the ice, so. It is literally just ice blocks. Kind of weird. Anyway, if we stay at a more reasonable speed here, I'm happy too. Now, that's a pretty good trajectory. We'll be close to that debris. I don't know how good of a landing site that debris actually ended up in, because it just kind of crashed, so I'm not really sure. It looked kind of flat, but this ice is really hard to tell. Actually, like, it's a little weird dealing with the poles because of that. It's just a little bit deceiving. It's really hard to know the sense of scale. And since we're up at the pole, of course, the shadows are all weird from the sun. Which I'm not even... Where is the sun right now? There it is. It's behind us. That's kind of beneficial, I guess. But it's really hard to actually get any sort of sense of how far away things are, because you really can't see until you get right up there. I'm going to close this map just because... At this resolution, it takes up kind of a lot of screen real estate, which I kind of would like for actually being able to see stuff. I'll leave the nav ball up because I find that to be useful still. Still not really sure where we're going to land. Looks like we're on a pretty good heading. This is like completely flat. This I think is supposed to be sea ice here. And I think the darker part has terrain under it. So the sea ice is very nice and flat. It's very difficult to tell what's going on with that, though. I don't think it has much of an actual texture going on. You know what the heck? I do kind of want to go land near the probe. I changed my mind. Get some altitude here so we have a little bit of speed still. Don't want to bleed off my speed yet. There's the debris. We're in range to see the debris now. Kind of a grim place to land. I guess we could return his body to his family. Not that I think there's really much left of his body. It bugs me I left space debris up there. Generally don't like to litter. This was unavoidable, but when I prefer to not leave space debris up there, because it just kind of makes life a lot harder. I am kind of curious to see what exactly is left of the plane, I guess, too. But this just isn't a very exciting landing. I do want to stay at a lower altitude so I can kind of see what's going on around here. Yeah, there's mountains. I'm pretty sure I'm near the anomaly here, though. I crashed right on that red dot, so the anomaly that's up here should be somewhere right up here. So if I land down on the sea ice, so it's a little bit flatter, right around there. It's getting dark, isn't it? Yeah, it's getting kind of close to getting dark. I think I might want to start descending and pick a landing spot here. Some of this thrust killed. Now, one annoying thing, when I've practiced landing this plane a couple of times, I flew with my gear down the whole way. Are you serious? That's embarrassing. Oh well. Usually I don't make those kind of mistakes. I'm going to turn on the lights too, even though probably not going to help that much. They do help with landing a little bit. Lights are nice. I do have to leave the thrust up just even a little bit here, because if I turn it off, the plane becomes unflyable. So we're going to have to do like a powered landing here. It's not a good glider, this plane. I'm going to work on a glider later, but this thing sucks as a glider. Yeah, this looks like a perfectly reasonable spot to land, I think. It's kind of stark and depressing up here. So this will be my first landing of a Kerbal. I guess it's Kerbal because it's Kerbal Space Program. This will be my first landing of a Kerbal anywhere, so kind of excited, kind of nervous. I wish it wasn't getting dark. Kind of makes me land sooner than I'd like. That must be Minmus there, I guess, too. Where did our wreckage go? Okay, so it's 27 kilometers away over there. Our angle of attack here still looks pretty good. I'm cutting the engines further down here. Let's try to drop some of the speed off. And I'm not going to do any crazy aero braking maneuvers, because I kind of have to fight against that. That's what happens when I turn the thrust down, is the nose of the plane tries to lift up, because I think my center of lift is a little screwed up here, which is something in future planes I will try to fix. This is my first successful plane, so do better in the future. I'm going to cut this down even a little further. I think I just have to have it on pretty much. I don't think it really needs to be at any particular level of thrust. Now, I'm definitely going to have to pitch the nose down a little bit, actually, right now, to try to get some of this height bled off, because, like I said, I'm kind of feeling a little bit of pressure because of the darkness up here and all that, so kind of want to just get touched down here. He looks pretty worried. I'm hoping his concerns are baseless, but judging by what happened over there, probably not. These kind of things are always stressful, because I know I can't see the timer very well. 23 minutes. The fraps counter is right up there. So yeah, 23 minutes 44 seconds. If I do that, it comes down. It's a little stressful just because I have put like almost a half hour into this flight, plus the time for the other one where we actually lost our dude. So it's a little nerve-wracking. I'm going to power up just a little bit more because I kind of want to get closer to those mountains, I think. It's a little hard to tell. I guess this would be sea level then, because it's sea ice. It makes sense to me. I don't want to pick up too much speed, though. Okay, let's leave that on, like, whatever that little mark is. I don't know. 5% or whatever throttle that is. Alright, it's staying stable. I'm able to pitch the nose down. So as long as I keep the engines on basically at all, we're good. My sense of scale right now is not good. That texture looks so weird, and then the textures haven't even popped in over there yet. Let's use the ice and get a little bit further out so we can try to actually see what's happening here. Alright, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty now. Trying to get some sense of scale. This is taking forever. It's not the best glider, but with the engines on, it still kind of glides. Well, not glides, but it flies a little bit. Oh, just get down, man. Pitch that nose down. I think I'm okay to pitch it down. I'm going to stop doing this at around 300 meters, I think, just so that I'd rather have my tail landing gear here first, like a real plane, you know? Makes sense to me. Alright, our speed is looking okay. Our landing site's a little boring, but what are you going to do? Actually, I kind of want to get a better better view. Let's speed it up just a little. I'm going to stay low. Not necessarily that low. Let's abort that landing real quick. I just want to get over somewhere that's going to be a little bit better. I still have fuel. Not enough fuel to get back, but no point in landing with a full fuel tank. It's really hard to tell how far away those mountains are, though. Very, very difficult to tell. I know that it's going to take forever to rover over there, probably. Alright. Holy crap. I don't know why, but I kind of like it up here. The sun is really crazy up here. I like to do time. I was doing that with that probe earlier. I'll have to show you guys. Like, the sun just kind of whips around because we're up at the pole. It's pretty cool looking, actually. Yeah, this looks like a little bit more suitable of a landing site up here. As long as I don't go too far and end up crashing into the mountain, I feel okay about that. Trying to keep my speed and my altitude to a reasonable level here. I stay down under 400 meters. Not necessarily under 200 though. Let's pull that up just a little bit because I can see my lights on the ground, which is kind of useful actually. I'm pretty sure I saw my lights on the ground there when we got down to 200. Oh, this is excruciating trying to find a spot that I like. I'm probably gonna like do a mock version of my eventual moon base up here too. Like, it probably won't be quite as advanced, but you know, with similar rovers, this seems like a good test spot for that sort of stuff, which is kind of why I wanted to do it. It's not perfect because, of course, Kerbal has an atmosphere where the moon doesn't, so landing stuff is gonna be a lot easier here because I can just use a parachute. But the gravity is a lot higher, so it makes powered landing a little bit trickier. So it's kind of a balance. I don't know how much of that kind of system I want to test first. This is looking pretty good up here. I'm going to try to aim for this little nook in the middle here. Just swing over just a hair. Hopefully we'll be able to find that anomaly that's up here too. I'll put GPS on the rover that I bring up here with me and try to figure that out. Alright, I'm going to do the rest on the ground as far as movement, I think, at this point. So, throttle down. Just kind of glide my little way down here. It's going to take a little while to get to the ground still. Trying to see. There's my lights. Okay. Wow, those lights are like ridiculous, man. That is crazy how bright those lights are. Kind of wish they were facing forward. I might have put my landing gear on backwards, actually. Oopsie. Oh, it's easy enough to change. Oh, here we go. Some lights in the front, too. Get a nice view of the moons there. Just keep on angling that nose so that it doesn't flip over. I don't think I'm going to have a shadow particularly because the sun is so low right now. All right, let's pull up just a little. Rear gear down. And... oh, this is terrible. Go the rest of the way, man. Oh, we got this. We got... no, we're going back up again. It's kind of good because we're bleeding off some more speed. Holy crap, man. I'm cutting the engine even further. We're on the ground practically, so... and... brake on. Engines off. We're down. Whoa, it's spinning. It doesn't matter, though. Plenty of runway ahead of us. And we're relatively near those mountains. That actually went pretty well. I kind of wish I'd remembered to put a solar panel on this thing, too, because those lights are going to just die when I'm not in here. Now, let's go ahead and extend our ladder. and celebrate. Look how happy he is. Let's get out of here. Stretch our legs up in the frigid Arctic. And there we go. Cool beans, man. How fast is the power going to drain on that thing? I don't know. We're not going to have light for very long, I don't think, though. Especially with those big lights on the front that I put. I was smart enough to put big lights on the front, but I am pretty sure that landing gear should be facing the other way. I'll have to fix that back in the thing. But we got a lovely moon over there. The sun is nowhere to be seen. We're going to have to send this guy some equipment so he doesn't freeze to death. I'm sure he has plenty of provisions in the plane to last a little while, but our next mission is going to be probably to drop him some sort of a module so he has somewhere to live for the time being. Might have been a good idea to send the module first, but I just kind of wanted to mess around with planes first. So let's go back in the plane where it's relatively warm. How is the power? Probably just turn off those lights for now so it doesn't get worse. Anywho, we're going to need to build a module next, I guess, for him and try to get that thing launched up there. So I'll be back with that next time. Thanks for watching.